Hello and welcome. Much as I hate promoting Nathan Oakley's channel, I felt compelled to do a response video to 3 videos that he has put up recently, short ones, disappearing from bottom up on a plane, bottom up disappearance update, and going over the flat Earth horizon angle of attack. Now, in these, Nathan shows a fairly long expanse of floor, I'm not sure how long, and lowers his phone camera down to the floor and demonstrates that objects in the distance start to become obscured from his view from the bottom up. It's been pointed out to Nathan that the floor he's using is almost certainly not level, not flat. It will undulate somewhat. Most floors do, especially longer floors. So the longer a floor, the more it's likely to undulate. However, I have made a response video to these videos from Nathan, so if you want to know the demonstrations that Nathan Oakley has done, I'm afraid you're going to need to go to his channel and support that by actually looking at his videos. Hello, well, I have here a short spirit level, and it has a laser pointer at the end. So that red knob switches the laser pointer off and on. I've tried to get everything as level as possible in the spirit level, so that way it's not too bad. And that way I've put that one piece of paper, it's one thickness of paper in, just to level that in that direction, the left to right direction, which doesn't really matter for what we're doing. I've placed boards over the floor. I've done this on the carpet and got the same result. But I've placed these plywood boards, 18mm plywood boards, so that I can get my camera lens much lower, because I can place the camera lens down here next to the laser pointer and get it, the actual lens of the camera much closer to the boards. So you can see the pointer is, the little dot is on the little bit of foam, white foam that I've placed standing on top of the end of the boards there. And the white dot is just above the surface, about 1 centimetre above the surface. And the pointer itself, the hole where the laser emanates from, the centre of that is 1 centimetre above the surface. Now I'll do a little measurement with a ruler in a second to show you that. So what happens, the most important bit, the money shot if you like, what happens when we lower the camera down right next to the end of the boards here. You can see the laser level pointer in position, and the camera is now right on the floor. And so the lens of the camera is, I would say, 1 centimetre above the floor in that direction. Yeah, it's pretty evenly in the middle. Now on my phone, the camera is located right in the centre of the phone, not to one side. So that's as close as I can get it to the boards. I'll just move back a little bit so you can see. That's the end of the board there. And I'm going right up to the boards, edges you can see, tilt the camera back, hard on the floor, let it focus, and the dot, I'm sure, will still be fully visible, as will the bottom of the bit of foam that's there. I will zoom in so that you can see. Now these boards here are not going to be perfectly level throughout their full full distance, full length across the probably about 8 meters or so that we're looking, but they're pretty close to level, not far off it. And clearly the dot is still visible, and zooming back out, it's also still clearly visible, as is the piece of foam. Now, you might argue that if I got the camera even lower to the edge of the board here, as I say, it's still about 1 centimetre above the board, it might we might start to see things disappear. But bear in mind that all we can say for sure is that there is a direct line of a direct path between the end of the laser level here and the foam in the distance. We don't know, going below 1 centimetre, whether there are undulations in the board that would get in the way. But we know that any undulations in the board are not actually going to affect whether we can see the object. Now, I'd like to also point out that the whole concept that the angle at which you view something affects whether you can see it is utterly absurd. So let's look at the door handle at the end of the room. I'm currently trying to point the camera directly at that. The angle of attack to the door handle is effectively 0. If I raise the camera up and move it down, I'm changing that angle of attack, as Nathan calls it. But at no point does any part of the door handle disappear. I now have a significantly negative angle. I'm getting closer and closer and closer to the floor. A significantly negative angle, and still we see that quite clearly. And we don't lose sight of the door handle until a physical object gets in the way, the end of the laser level here. So to suggest that it's angle of attack that's important is pretty absurd, really. What causes obstruction is the object between us and what we are looking at. And in the case of the floor, in Nathan's video, I would assert his floor is uneven, and therefore it's rising, falling in places probably as well, and he's unable to see a direct line of sight to the object that he's looking at. In this case, I've made sure there is a direct line of sight by pointing the laser. And just in case anybody is doubting that the red dot comes from this laser, I will switch it off and switch it back on again, and you can see that it's clearly there. I'll do that again, zooming in, just to make sure that you can see that the laser switches off and back on again. So just to get the height above the board's level for the laser itself, hopefully you can see there that if I turn that round, that is at 1 centimetre. It's actually just below 1 centimetre that the light's actually coming out, as you can see there. As I move the ruler a little bit, it changes, but it looks to be about 8 millimetres, something like that. And if we go down to the other end of the boards, the easiest thing to photograph or video this. Am I still zoomed out? Yeah, I'm still zoomed out a bit. There we go. If I place the ruler here, you can see that the centre, oops, put the phone in the way of the laser, the centre of the point of the light is still at about 0.8 of a centimetre above the board. So a bit rushed and crude and dirty. I've done it 3 or 4 times in different places, but I think this one with the boards down gives me the best result. So I'll put this up online.